Hello, welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the Paxton Road TV reaction show for the game that's just finished. Watford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, and they've just about managed to make my New Year's better than it could have been had Davinson Sanchez not popped up with the winner. But we got a victory, 1-0 to the Spurs, joined in the house by Mike Hotspur Hustler, Sean Hurl, and Marlon Bashman. And also, just joining us in the background, there he is, the man himself, Sid Spurs. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to everyone. That's one thing, definitely. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Clearly, Spurs struggled with the low block today, crossing the ball in the box, not being able to create anything through the middle, not really utilizing them wide areas to full effect, although we had a lot of possession in them wide areas with both our wing backs. But as they always say in football, it's sometimes, and it is, more important to get the 3 points, and sometimes the performances have suggested. Had we got a draw, it would have been, a lot more negativity, but popping up with the win, however we did it, and that's the main thing. So again, we can look at and we can go through all the performance and all the rest of it. There was definitely lots and lots we can look at to try and improve on what we're doing, given the fact that we've had 2 games now where we had low block teams causing us problems, particularly Southampton did with the 10 men. Watford, from the start, they looked like they were just intent on, you do what you want, we're not going out of this for our hour and a half. However, we won the game. Davinson Sanchez, well done, Davinson. If you're watching, he's not watching yet, but he might watch it on replay. Anyway, let's come. So yeah, I was just saying, clearly there were struggles today. Mike, did we deserve the victory today?
I think when you look at it on the balance of play, yeah. I think we mentioned this in the WhatsApp group. Against these teams like your Watford, your Southamptons, we don't need Højbjerg and Skip, who are naturally defensively minded, to be playing in the same side against these teams. We need someone with more creativity. Ndombele would have been perfect. This is another game exactly like Southampton, where we're crying out for someone that has a bit of creativity, like Ndombele, who could unlock a stubborn back line like Watford's, like Southampton's. But yeah, and that's the only sort of negativity I have about the game today is we didn't play bad. We played all right, but we just don't know how to. I don't know if it's we don't know how to, but it's certainly I think that the players we have on the pitch aren't experts in unlocking stubborn defences like Watford's. Højbjerg and Skip, as much as I like them as players and what they do for Spurs, I think the game could have done with someone with more creativity. But other than that, sometimes, as we've probably all mentioned it previously, sometimes in football, when you're playing away from home, you get 3 points, take it and run. So 3 points is all that mattered at the end of the day. We got that thanks to our hero Sanchez.
I can't believe I'm saying that. Can't believe I'm saying that.
After the grief we gave him last season. Cool. But to be fair, the back line, I've got no issues with the back line today. Clean sheet. They all played well. Defensively, there's no issues. It's just unpicking this low block teams. Watford was set up for the counter attack. They were one of the worst teams we played this season. I think they were worse than probably Norwich in some ways. But yeah, we've just got to find a way to sort of unpick and unlock these sort of these teams in the lower end of the Premier League and put them to bed, make the game more comfortable.
Sid, what did you think of the tactics today? Did you think that Conte got it spot on? What could have changed for you to make an improved performance? Like Michael said, the victory, we take that. You look at the game, Arsenal versus Manchester City. Arsenal played really, really well, but they came away with nothing. I would rather the opposite of what they had and get the 3 points as we did today. But we can always go into what we can improve because there is improvements to be made. But what do you think of the tactics today?
I think I agree with exactly what Mike's saying. Palace with 10 men, we struggled to break them down. Southampton, 10 men, we struggled to break them down. I think we were struggling with 11 men, to be fair. Today, everyone knew the game plan. Watford are getting battered everywhere they go every week, right? And West Ham absolutely drilled them last week 4-1 a couple of days ago. So they probably come out today not to get hammered. They probably would have been happy with a 1-0, 2-0, but they didn't want to absolutely get annihilated at home again twice in 3 days. On the flip side, I agree with Mike said. I think Højbjerg and Skip does not work because there was one instance in the first half. I don't know if you saw it, but Watford were attacking. I think they had about 2. Højbjerg was our last defender in the box. He was even ahead. He was actually behind Sanchez and Dyer. And I'm like, hold on a second. You're a midfielder. Yeah. They've got about 1 player in the box and you're having a chat with Hugo Lloris. No, it's not going to work. And the thing is, and we're crying out for this week in, week out. We're all saying it. We've got no creativity in midfield. I think Ndombele is a problem, isn't it? It's a massive problem. He needs to come clean now with that because now them 2 games, it just proves that he's not in his mind. Even GLC.
I think he's come clean. I think he has come. I think Conte has basically done over the last 2 games where we've needed someone like an Ndombele. Has been nowhere to be seen. He's rather brought on Brian, who's not as robust as Ndombele, but he's brought him on ahead of him.
And Winks.
And
even Winks.
So, Winks, I kind of get the Winks thing, but I don't get the Ndombele thing unless he clearly isn't in Conte's plans. Is my opinion. I don't know what's in there.
But then that's a massive problem now because last 3 games we can't create for nothing, mate. Even my 2-year-old grandkid can create more than what we're creating in the middle. Yeah, it's at what point now then? If you're not going to play the most gifted creative player that we've got in our team, then who are you going to play? Because like I said on the group, we got Chelsea 3 times and Arsenal as well. If we play like we did today and not have any creativity, we're not going to win them games. And trust me, they're not going to be like Watford and Southampton. These teams are going to come at us. And I don't know about you guys, but I think Son's not up to it for the last couple of games.
He's been missing.
At all, mate. He's gone missing. And it's a problem because if he's gone missing, then we've got a serious problem. I think Mora was all right today, but I think tactically...
One thing I will say about Son, just to add to that, is he was the one who got that delivery in.
100%.
All the deliveries that we had today, he's the one who's likely to put in the better cross for anybody. And if he wasn't on the pitch, we're not going to get that goal.
I'll tell you what as well.
He should have. Well, I say he should have scored. The keeper pulled off a great save. I thought that was in.
Yeah, I mean, even DPD and Hermes are doing better deliveries than bloody Emerson Royal at the moment, and that's a problem. Yeah, you know what I mean? They're normally poor. Yeah, but even they're on track compared to Emerson Royal. Jesus. So we've got a problem with deliveries, mate. Honestly,
it's from both the flanks, though.
Yeah,
100% agree. Sean, I'll come to you next. But you made a very good point in the group. Is it that Watford's tactics were to allow us to play in them wide areas with our wing backs, knowing that Emerson's crossing does need to be improved? There's no doubt about that. I like the fact that he was able to get into them spaces, playing high and wide. Both our wing backs were doing that really, really well in terms of getting into those positions. But that final ball, if we are going to play like that with just that one wide player, Watford all day I thought they could have dealt with the crosses because they did. Why not then get another player out there? Why not push more out wide? Why not push Son out wide? Create them overloads. Make Watford get another player out there as opposed to just because that's what the problem was for me.
They're still packing out that 18-yard box. Even if you've got another man going out, that's what Watford were doing. They were quite happy for us to go out wide because let the ball come into the box. When you've got 5, 6 Watford shirts in there and they're big old units. They should be able to cross, even if it's a low cross in, the first man's gonna clear that. Or if it's going up in the air, 9 times out of 10, Watford they're not going to lose a header in the box.
Yeah, so no, they're not.
It's different. And this is what I think Man City had. I mean, I know we're talking different levels here, but with Man City and Arsenal and with Watford, but that's what Man City was struggling with. They were allowed to go out wide, but it seems like these teams that are going down to 10 men or playing the low block, they're happy for the opposition to go out wide and then they'll deal with anything that comes in the box. unless you've got that bit of magic, which likes of City, etc., have, you're
When you
always going to struggle.
Think about Liverpool. Liverpool, they rely on Robertson and Trent Alexander. Now, if you've got a worldie in Trent, you know that if he's given time and space, he's going to put that ball Beckham-esque into the right spaces. But you do need runners off the ball to be able to create. The other problem we had is, and I think it's Calvin who put it in the group, Nigel. We didn't have enough players going across players into that near post area to get. It was like we're just running in channels. And if you're going to do that with crosses, the cross has to be pinpoint. And that's the problem for me. Unless you have got a Trent Alexander who's going to make pinpoint accurate crosses, you're relying on players to make movement and more movement. So
it's got to be quicker, though, isn't it?
It's got to be quicker.
What's the first thing every grassroots player is taught when he's on the flanks? Beat the first man. He never beat the first man once. So you can't make no runs at the front post or the back post. Man needs to beat your first player that's in front of you. If you can't beat him for 90 minutes, then you got a problem. And I think Emerson, that's the problem he's got.
Sean, I'll come to you then. Was the selection right today in terms of the team selection for you?
When it started, I thought it was a reasonable selection, but I thought quite quickly in the first half it was clear that we had total dominance, but we didn't have anyone capable of doing the Ericsson job of putting the ball between defenders. I want to give credit a bit to Ranieri actually, because he's obviously looked at us and he's seen that Emerson is not the finished product, far from it. And he said, as long as he's got it, you just stay in the middle. And they crowded us out. And I think they double teamed on Reguilon because he's more reliable, I think. But I think that's a bit of credit down to Ranieri. He's obviously concerned that they haven't kept a clean sheet for, since dinosaurs walked the earth or whatever. But I think
Wow. Yeah.
I think we it was quickly clear that we needed someone with a bit of lock picking skills, and clearly this was a game for a Lo Celso or a Ndombele.
Yeah.
And Lo Celso got 10 minutes towards the end.
Yep.
And Ndombele was probably walking up and down the touchline in his warm up, and Conte said, "I'm not having that," So
I don't see him.
I think to be honest, we have to get. I think we have to give a bit more credit to Watford for smothering us.
We do, but like you said, just going back to that Ndombele point, it's not even like Conte decided to throw a Hail Mary and play him. There must be something definitely that's not right with him. Whether that's just a fitness issue, whether that's him. Because again, going back to that press conference that he did, the press conference before the game, and how he talked about wings, after how he talked about Ndombele, told me everything.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see today whether or not there was going to be any opportunity for him to even prove himself, and he's not. I don't think he's playing, so we can almost discount him playing in them games against Chelsea, Arsenal coming up. I don't think we're going to see him unless something drastically changes. Marlon, for you though, what do we need to do, or why is it that we can't seem to break down these teams that have this low block?
God, change the two in the midfield. It's this too predictable. Have one of them, and then just play Lo Celso next to him. Ndombele is gone. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm not singing his praises no more. He's a waste man. He needs to go. I'm tired of him.
Did you ever praise him?
No, yeah, I was. I was a big fan of him, man. I think he's got the ability. I think he just believes in his hype a bit too much. Because if he thinks he should be out of Barcelona or someone, and you can't get in his Spurs team, then yeah, you need to go. But definitely Skips and Højbjerg, it's not working. It's too negative. And if you've got 5 at the back, I know some people say it's 5 when you defend and 3 when you go forward. It's just not working. And you're expecting Kane, Lucas, and Son to create chances out of nothing. No, that's not happening, especially when a team sitting back like Watford. So it needs to be a change in the middle. So we got at least 4 attacking players, because Reguilon and Emerson, their deliveries, it's been poor all season. They're not good with their deliveries. They can go up and down the flank, but yeah, even taking on players. When do you see them take on a player, really? I think this going forward, they're struggling big time.
I do wish Reguilon would take a chance every now and hit a shot at the far post.
had one shot, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's
Good save.
hard.
But in the second half, he had a great chance. He just needed to hit it to the right hand corner, and he passed it back to Kane. He just bottled it, and I just wish that Conte would just say to him, Sergio, just take a hit. You know, he had a great hit in the first half, which brought the save out of the keeper.
Comes with confidence, though, doesn't it?
Right. What are the positives?
Well,
I'm just going to ask the question of all of you. What are the positives from today? Because the positives to me are the defensive lineup seems solid. I think the back three, what I want to see a little bit more is maybe Sanchez going a little bit more forward from that right centre-back position. I think Ben Davies was doing that from the left side centre-back position. But one of them two defenders or Dyer needs to join in the attack. And when I say that, with a low block team that we had, as Marlon was saying, you've got 3 defenders against literally one player because they were pretty much doing a 4-5-1. And then it was almost like sometimes they'd even put the wide players to make a 6 across the back. So in that sense, you ain't got that many players that's required to be at the back because they ain't going to counter-attack you to death. They're not going to do it. But in terms of the defense, I was happy with the solidity, if that's the right phrase, for them. Just going forward now. So what else could we do in terms of, you know, maybe adjusting that tactically to get more opportunities at goal? Because we'll come to it, 20 odd shots not on target, attempted. That's a lot of attempts, but we didn't look like scoring that many goals today.
Is that aimed at me?
Aimed at anybody, because I just want to know. I need some information. I need help. I
personally don't want to see Sanchez, unless it's at set pieces. I don't want to see Sanchez join an attack. I just don't think he's good enough. But
he scored today, Mike, with a head.
Yeah,
that's a set piece.
I know. I'm being a bit facetious.
I'm happy for Sanchez to join the attacks at set pieces, corners, etc. Fine, no issues with that. He's big. It makes sense.
Yeah.
However, him attacking, I don't want to see that. But the problem is you're in a catch-22 situation, right? So Dyer and Sanchez, they're both prone to making the odd mistake. Now, Davies is the better out of the back three. Davies is the better one going forward. I don't mind him if there's any of them having a shot on goal. I'd rather it be Davies. I think he's all right going forward. But I'd also say out of the three, he's the one that's least likely to make a mistake in the back line. So if you've got 2-on-1, do you go with Sanchez and Dyer or Davies and one of those two? I don't know what the answer is there, but I think
this is where people are talking.
I think you're right, Mike.
What's your thoughts on this comment, then, Sean? If you've got Sanchez, who's playing well defensively, but you've got someone like Romero who may be better going forward, and we've had this probably a little bit of this. Do you just bring him straight back in when he's fully fit? Because I can't see Sanchez playing anywhere other than on that right-hand side of our defence at this moment in time.
And you don't want to see him anywhere else. That's the thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
So I would say, I mean, Sam, I would say that was a no-brainer, a fully fit Romero. What I'm really concerned about is that was a pretty serious injury he suffered, and you know we're rushing him back. I would hope that the sports scientists
for Argentina.
It's a great.
That's true. And the Celso.
Yeah, it's a great free.
Yeah, well, all right.
Straight back in, can you?
No, when it's Argentina,
I mean, it depends how bad that tear was in his hamstring. You know. Yeah, I think I'm with Mike. I panic when Sanchez is near their penalty box in a link up, because I think if he loses the ball, you know, he's our saviour at the back, and if the ball's having to run down, you know, having to run back to recover, especially against that the substitute they brought on, Pedro.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brazilian.
Yeah.
Winks bailed him out, didn't he?
Yeah, it was difficult, I think, you know, and I think what I'd like to see, you know, going back to your original question, Sam, about, you know, what do we do, is that we have players in different parts of the box, you know. Yes, we need to go near post, but we never have a midfielder on the edge of the box to slam it home. There's never anyone
I
sort of
think
hanging
Højbjerg
back. Just
a couple of times,
Huh?
but then Højbjerg was there a couple of times. But we know.
Don't mention Højbjerg. I
We
don't
know.
want to see you shooting.
No.
You know,
But, you know, like, I'm sure Lascelles would do it. You know, I'm sure. You know, I'm sure Skip would. You know.
Let's
come back to
Højbjerg's slamming is Rose mate.
Yeah,
let's
let's come back to Højbjerg and the team selection in a bit, because I think there's a bit more to talk about Højbjerg in midfield alongside anybody at the moment, because I think you mentioned it earlier, Sid. At times he was deeper than Dyer. At times I saw him and I was like, this can't work. You can't have a two-man midfield where one of them's behind the back line. That's just not on. It won't, particularly when they're not the most attacking team. So I couldn't get that. But anyway, let's look at the stats. Obviously the score today, 0-1, Spurs winning in a 96-minute goal from Davinson Sanchez. Possession-wise, 26% to 74 for us. 6 shots to them, 21 shots for us today. That was similar to what we had against Southampton, although they had 10 men. Again, shots on target, 4 to our 9. I don't know where the keeper's making worldies. There was a couple of saves I remember him making, but not loads. Corners 3, 7 to us. Foul 6, 9. Can you read anything from them stats, Sid? What do you read from them stats, should I say?
First thing, if for people that are listening, 96 minutes means, it doesn't mean we scored 96 minutes into injury time. There was an incident, so 96 minutes means
good point.
The game was longer, and it wasn't injury time. It was just because the play got stopped because somebody got taken ill in the stand. So
good point.
We're not scoring injury time winners, unfortunately, but that's how it was. But it just, you know what? It says what it says, basically. 21 shots, 9 on target, But the keeper made, I think, one decent save. I think that was from Son, weren't it?
I remember that one, the Son volley,
Yeah, the Son volley. And we did this last game against Southampton as well. The keepers were having the shots on goal. And I think me and you had a bit of a conversation on this, Mike. Shots are shots, but the keepers were not making worldly saves. They're bread and butter shots that simply a keeper just picks up, and it counts as a shot on goal. A shot on goal is where you batter him and you make the keeper work and the defenders work for it. We're not doing that. Today, again, most of them shots, if you sit down and analyse it properly, they're probably simple bread and butter for the goalkeeper.
I think that's down to the creation. We're not creating.
Yeah, we're not creating as well. That's it. I mean, most of them shots are like sort of on the half turn, or I mean, Kane had a good shot as well where he twisted and the keeper made a save. But
he's made about a handful of saves today. Reggie, Kane, Son.
Yeah. But the thing is,
and Kane missed a sitter in the first half.
Yeah, well,
you know, when Skip had broken them down.
Yeah.
I mean, that should have been, you know, a goal.
I think that should have went to Son personally. He should have passed it to Son personally.
100%. But going back to that,
I don't care about the opposition's keeper making worldy saves. I just want the keeper to be worked. Whether he's making standard saves to his left, to his right, whatever it might be, I just want that keeper worked. Because then, I mean, if you're making the keeper work and he's parrying, at some point he's going to make a mistake. Whether it be he's parried the ball out into the 18-yard box back into danger, or you've got someone coming out on the wing where he's parried it wide and then they're just following in and they knock the ball in. But I don't think making world-class saves is an issue. I think it's just you just got to make the keeper work. Just make it work.
I think the most important thing is we're actually having shots and shots on target compared to under Nuno, where we were having nothing. You know, 21 shots. I mean, I think we're averaging now 15 to 20 shots every single game. Whereas
I would say today reminds me a bit of Nuno. It was so frustrating, man.
Yes. I think everyone said that. Everyone said the same. But going back to what we said before as well about our attackers and what you were saying before, Sam, about Trent and Robertson going down and having shots and crossing the mid. The only thing is we've got 2 that can't do it. But even when they do, as JLS said, you only get 1 shot. You got to make it count.
True.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
There is lots today that we can look at and we can go through. But again, I think the biggest thing today is we got the victory. A number of times we can look at the previous management. I don't think we would have got that goal. Watford were playing for that draw. You could easily. I thought they were going to play for the last 5-10 minutes in the second half. They didn't even do that. They had a couple of opportunities, but nothing where I was like, oh wow. But still, was there anything? And I'll come to you, Marlon. Was there anything in Conte's performance that you think can be improved? Do you think that Conte could have maybe done more with the subs? Do you think Conte could have maybe done more with the team selection? We all know his passion. We all know all of that sort of stuff. He likes to play at the three at the back, but he's very rigid in that three at the back. He doesn't really seem to, right, okay, I can see that we don't need the extra defender. I'm going to throw somebody else into midfield and make it 4. He doesn't seem to come away from that 3, which means we are going to have to accept that the centre-backs of them 3, one of them needs to be more attacking, at least one of them. Do you think Conte could have done more with the selection and the subs?
I don't know if he can, because the 2 attacking midfielders they've got is the Celso and Ndombele. Ndombele is out of favour, and the Celso just came up from an injury. So I think I understand why he started. But if the Celso's fully fit and you're not starting in midfield with either Skips or Højbjerg, then I'll start questioning it. But in regards to the 3 at the back, I think Dyer is that person because he can pick out passes. I've been seeing it for years. That guy, he's got a pass on him. And if it's done properly, he will pick out a player. But because Watford are basically sitting on the edge of the area the whole game, there was no space. So I think the only option we had really was actually to keep going wide, but we did need someone in the midfield to create. So it's a tricky one. Unless, do you like everyone? What, does everyone think we should have started Celso, even though he's not fully fit?
No, he should be packed on. He should be sent, gone.
Oh, him. But then we're not starting on Dembele, so then we're left with Skips, Højbjerg, and Weeks, and we know we all know those 3. He needs to go as well, man. He done good against Liverpool.
The thing is, we can create. If you got a 3-man midfield, I think you can. If you've got someone who is forward, because I think Skip for me was up until he went off. I think he was the best player that we had on the pitch, and it surprises me why he gets taken off before Højbjerg in that situation. A, because he's younger.
Experience. Yeah. And you're on a card though.
Yeah, but I don't understand that experience thing.
Save him for Chelsea. Save him for Chelsea, mate.
Yeah, it could be the point. Well, let me just go through this where we are in the league table. Yeah, sure.
Because before it was mentioned, I think Sid was saying that when we play the top teams, what we're going to do. I think that will suit Spurs when we play the Chelseas or the Man Cities or Liverpool, because we're going to just play on the break. We're not going to have the ball. This formation works with teams that have the ball. So I think they'll be all right. It's just when we play teams like your Watfords and Southamptons where you need creativity there, because you're going into those games. Even Southampton, that game just peed me off. I just like, how can we not break down this team with 10 men? And it just showed the midfield, it needs fixing. But I'm sure they all know. They know they have to find someone to go in there and sort out this issue. So,
okay.
Just needs tweaking.
I'll come back to just put this. I'll show it again. Sorry for that. Took it off because we were just having a bit of a
West Ham are winning, by the way, too. No, I did see the second goal.
Okay, we can almost discount I guess we can discount the top 3. But looking at where Arsenal are, having not won today, they're on 35 points, having played 20 games. We are now played 18 games on 33 points. Obviously, West Ham are winning. This will be their 20th game. So we could potentially go down to 6, but they would have played 2 games more than us, as would Arsenal have done. And then we've got Manchester United just behind that, having played 18 games on 31. So it's all very tight in that run for that 4th place spot. And we have got Chelsea, Arsenal coming up in the league. Obviously, we've got Chelsea as well coming up in the cup. That was a necessary 3 points today. But how would you then see how we would play? If we play like that against Chelsea, if we play like that against Arsenal, I could see not coming through with a win. What does it need to adjust in terms of personnel and the approach to the game to get better performances and potentially the wins against Chelsea and Arsenal? Mike, what's your thoughts on that?
Sorry, Sam. Say that question again.
In terms of what we might have to do differently if we play, or is it a case of they'll play differently against us, so we don't have to really change our game? Because I don't see Chelsea having a low block. I don't see Arsenal potentially playing a low block against us. No. So do we need to worry about that sort of tactics from them, or is it just a case of we just need to perform against those teams anyway?
Yeah, I think it's more of a case that we'll need to perform against these teams. Chelsea aren't going to play a low block against us.
No. Arsenal. Arsenal might.
I think Arsenal will, because they're playing in our yard. I think they'll play a low block and try and counter us. I actually think that will be the case with Arsenal. But Chelsea,
even the way they played against City today, because they were very much on the front foot. Yeah, but even against City, most teams do play low blocks against City, even when they're playing at home. It's very few teams that take the game to City, but they did today.
Arsenal are a little bit similar to us. Their away record and performances. You look at their results and their performances; they're not too dissimilar to ours. Whereas their home form, they're playing well at home. Chelsea, I think they'll just be ours from the start. I think we'll counter. We'll set up for a counter attack. And the 3-5-2, which is I think what we will end up doing, is going 3-5-2 against Chelsea. I think that will suit us against them.
If we play an Inter Milan kit against Chelsea, we'll win because he'll play for us.
And I think Højbjerg and Skip will start that game, especially the away game. I think Højbjerg and Skip will start, and I think that would be the right thing to do. Play those two against Chelsea, and hit them on the counter. And we'll just have to. I think we'll end up soaking up pressure for the majority of the game. But I think it's a case. I think it's a bit of a case. We play a low block and counter, and the boys have to turn up.
You mentioned it already, Mike, and I'll mention it now and come to you, Sean, on this one. 6 wins in 22 Premier League away games for Spurs. That's going back, obviously stretching back some time. The last away win that we had, apart from today's one, was against Newcastle. Is there a case that we need to do something differently away from home in terms of the way we play? Because again, I go back to the point. Conte seems to have a very structured way of playing in terms of the formation. We know that. And again, the creativity a lot of the time largely comes from them wide areas from the guys on the wing backs we've talked about before. I'm not quite sure whether or not some away games we need to do something different. I would like to see more wide players. I'd like to see if Son and more get out wide, really stretch them, because through the middle, I don't see how we can create as much opportunities if it's so compact. Away again, you would have thought that teams would be more open, but the likes of Watford today, they weren't. But more often than not, teams should be at home, encouraged by the crowd. So what is it that we're not been able to get and create enough that we've only got 6 wins in 22?
Well, I think it's like we said, our attacking options are pretty poor. I think, there was a stage. I mean, I think the best game we've had was probably Liverpool, when we actually got players into the box. And I think I would go with that kind of formation against Chelsea. Maybe even bring Dele back in. Maybe bring Dele back in. He had a good game against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool, but then he went missing.
So I think we're not going to have the ball as much against Chelsea on Wednesday. We need to pack the midfield, and we need pace.
What game's on Wednesday?
Chelsea.
What, league or cup?
Cup. Semi-final.
Cup.
Oh, bloody hell, so soon. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So soon.
But us having if we make it compact in the middle of the park, away from home for the first leg, that might suit Spurs, because if we can bring Chelsea back to our gaff, and we're level on like the aggregate is level, that might suit us. So it might be that we away from home against Chelsea, which we never get great results at Stamford Bridge. Conte might just set us up to stifle and frustrate Chelsea, and take it back to the lane, which we. Like Sean said, the Liverpool game, we were good against Liverpool. We were unlucky not to win that game.
True. So is it down to this? Is it down to what Craig's saying here? I think Conte will play 3-5-2 against the better teams like we did against Liverpool. Do you think that might be the case against Chelsea in that first leg?
Definitely.
Or even against all them games?
Yeah, I think
100%, Craig.
Yeah.
Spot on. Okay, let me just go back to seeing what we had. So this is the starting lineup today. Let me get this. Just for those who are listening, Lloris in goal, Sanchez, Dyer, Davis made up the back three. This is pretty much a settled team now, as far as I'm concerned. This is the way, apart from obviously if we play with the two up top, then it might be a selection difference in there. But Emerson, and Reguilon as the wing backs. That again is going to be the way forward. I can't see the others getting a bit of a sniff in there. Højbjerg, Skip in midfield. Now we talk about this two-man midfielder, Skip and Højbjerg. For me, Skip is playing like how I want to see a midfielder play. He's more energetic. He's box to box. He doesn't play too deep, but he doesn't play too far forward at times. There are times when he could get in the box a little bit more, but I don't see him beyond, this back three. I don't see him in these areas where I see Højbjerg. He's constantly dropping into this back line. Now, last season, when you got a back two, I can understand him doing that. In a back three, I don't understand him doing that. So
question, would you say Skips is a holding midfielder or is a normal midfielder?
I think he's a box-to-box, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
I think that is what he is, box-to-box.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Sorry.
What do we need to do in this midfield with Højbjerg? Because I like what Højbjerg does in terms of breaking the play up, giving the ball to somebody else. He's that mentality-wise, but it limits us with two players in midfield. If one of them's deep, you've got one man in there. It ain't going to work long-term against the better teams. They'll sort that out quickly. How would we change that? Or would you change it personnel-wise?
What I would say, right, is if I was Conte, I'd say to Skip, listen, you're my box-to-box man, yeah? I want you to do the running in both boxes, up and down, get the ball, like you was doing at Norwich, run with the ball, get into their opponent's half and do what you can. Højbjerg, I'd say to him, right, you're going to play behind Skip, yeah? But do not underline, go behind Dyer and Sanchez. They're my defenders. You either play in front of them to protect them, yeah? Like Makaleli and them not used to do. You protect the back three. You do not go behind the back three. You sit in front of them, you protect them, and let Skip do the up and down business. Because with Skip, I think he'd create more and he'd get into them box positions to create and get onto the end of chances. Whereas Højbjerg sits too far back. So just tell him to sit in front of the three and say, that's it. Do not go behind them. But then that's down to Dyer and Sanchez and Davis or whoever to tell him that as well. That listen, no. Because when Lloris gets the ball half the time, Højbjerg's literally on the edge of the penalty box or whatever, asking for a ball. Dyer's there to do that. Let Dyer and Sanchez do that.
And he can pass.
Exactly. You just do what you got to do. And then he looks knackered because he does a lot of runs.
I think he does too much.
Yeah, exactly. So if he just sits in front of them three and let Skip do the running, because Skip's a young lad and he'll run all day long, Højbjerg then can control it from there. And I think if he does and listens to that, I think we're onto a winner.
Good point.
I just don't want them to. I just don't want them to play like unless it's against the top teams. I mean, the only formation that suits those two playing in the same team, really and truly, be the 4-2-3-1.
True.
Because if you go 4-2-3-1, that gives the license for the front four to sort of to attack and not to worry so much about the defensive duties to a certain degree. But I personally. I think that's the only thing that needs tweaking. It's just to work out the right combination of who sits in with Skip or who sits in with Højbjerg.
Yeah.
If we were going for a box-to-box midfielder, personally, I think we need someone that's better attacking than Skip. Whereas
Let's not say Kessie.
We can't mention anyone because we have to go with what we've got, and I don't think we've got anyone that can do that job until what we're saying is the money spent in the window, which we might not even. Kessie is not even guaranteed because we're looking to get him in the summer. Because to get him now, we have to pay, and then he's going to the AFCON. So might as well forget Kessie for the time being. We have to look at what we've got, and I don't think we've got anybody that can do what you're looking for, Mike. In this,
Lo Celso. But is that this sub bench here is wrong, isn't it? It's missing Lo Celso, and he was Session on the bench.
Yeah, that's my bad. I apologise.
No, Sessie's injured.
This sub stuff here, I didn't change it. That's my bad. I got the team right though. I got the team right, but I forgot to change that. That's my bad.
I mean,
apologies, sir.
The only alternative, if you're going to play those two, is you change it to the 3-5-2 and have someone in the middle, and then you have your Son and your Kane up top. And that's where you maybe like Marlon said, Lo Celso could fit into that midfield. I wouldn't rely on Lo Celso and either Skip or or Højbjerg. I don't think he'd do his defensive duties. I think would be too open if it's just a midfield two of those. But this is Conte's problem, isn't it? It's a good problem to have because we're winning games, or we're not losing, shall I say?
Well, Conte in the league, he's won 5 and drawn. He's won 5 and drawn 3. We all heard the stats. The first manager to go 7 unbeaten, 5 and 3. That's a good record. What we do have to take into consideration is who we played. Of those teams, you could probably say Liverpool, potentially Everton were the 2 toughest teams. I know Crystal Palace are having a good season, but you'd normally want to take points off them anyway. And Watford, we all know. Southampton, we all know.
We haven't beaten Watford away for a long time,
No, we haven't. That's right.
That's a good point. Yeah. But you would have said after Watford having 5 losses in a row, the way that they've played, they've not had any draws. They've kind of either scored a load or they've conceded a load. It was a game which we should have won a bit more convincingly. But I always thought it was going to be a tough game. It was always going to be a tough game because
that's why you went 1-0.
That's why I went 1-0 Just knowing that. Do you know what I mean?
There's no easy games in the Premier League.
No, but don't forget, we are Dr. Tottenham, aren't we? No matter how shit you are and how bad you're playing, you come up against us and Dr. Tottenham will come to help you.
We need an early goal. If we get early goals in a game like today, get an early goal, Watford have to change completely how they play.
If Kane had scored that chance in the first half, we would have won that game comfortably.
So I'm going to come to you, Sean. What did you think of Kane's overall performance anyway?
I thought he did a mountain of work, to be fair, and he was very unlucky. He should have taken his chance in the first half, and I think he battled away. He took some awful, we haven't got on to the referee yet. And he was poor today. We had 2 good shouts for a penalty in the first half.
That guy, but you know what I'm saying? Sorry, Sean, I'll let you continue. I thought that referee thought he's a new Mike Dean. Mike Dean loves himself so much. This guy, I saw him stretching and doing all kinds of things with the play. Do one for me. What's he talking about? Get off the pitch. Don't do all that. He's showing off, and I don't like referees that show off. That's what it seems to me. I hate that.
Sam, there was that one point in the second half as well where they got a free kick, I think, and he went over to the Watford player and stood in front of him and said, "You're not taking this until I tell you to take it. I'm the man."
I don't like
showing
referees
off. And I thought, this ref, mate, totally agree with you.
Don't like that. Sorry, Sean. Continue, mate. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were asking about Kane. I thought he did a very tough job against some robust defending, to say at least. He deserved a goal really for his efforts, I thought, today. I can't have any criticism of him to be fair, other than he should have taken that first. That was a bang to rights. That should have been a goal in the first half. But other than that, I thought he led the line really well. He was getting behind their defence in the second half late on, but we made Sissoko look like defensive midfielder of the year by just passing it to the edge of the 6-yard box where Papa Sissoko was saying, "Thank you very much. I'll kick that out of the box."
I'll take it.
No one came near.
Marlon, steady on now. I was going to come to you next, Marlon, but when you start saying things like that, that's when I might not come back to you.
Just quickly, Sam. Do you think there was 2 penalty shouts on Kane?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think there were penalties. There was one on Dyer as well that he dragged him down. You could see.
The Dyer one was a penalty. Yeah, all day.
I think one of Kane's was offside. One of them was offside.
The second one on Kane, though, the one where the Watford player, I can't remember who it was, but he was hugging him. Literally hugging Kane.
All day long. But the thing is, it's not even going to VAR. They're not even saying to VAR, have a look at this.
Exactly.
Is there something against Harry Kane for this?
Yes.
The last couple of games, because I can't understand how they're not even going to VAR. At least go to VAR.
That's true.
You know what? Nah, it's not. But they're not even doing that to have a look at the screen. This is what I'm saying about the referees. I don't like show-off referees.
It's up to our players to get in the referee's ear, though.
He did.
I think Kane did on the second one.
Kane did. Big time.
Yeah, you can see. I heard him say ref at one point. Yeah, it was picked up on the commentary I was watching.
This is the point of the VAR. It's just so inconsistent. Like on the offsides. I mean, the last weekend, I can't remember now if it was during the week or last weekend. You had Foden and Kane's very similar. One's given, one's not. It's just inconsistent.
My God.
Inconsistent. It's like it's almost like VAR shouldn't be used for offsides, but just use it for incidents that either the ref misses or basically the ref misses, i.e., be the eyes behind the back of his head type scenario. But it's just VAR is causing more problems than it's solving at the moment.
We should have had at least one penalty today, probably two.
Even with the Dyer one, how do you? I
don't know how you don't.
But that outside the penalty box, that's a free kick all day long. Yeah, all
and it would have
day
been
long.
given.
Exactly. So if that's the free kick outside the penalty box, why is that not a penalty in the box? It's just honestly, your mind boggles, doesn't it? It just makes you wonder what the hell is going on with this VAR and the refs.
Everyone's saying it though. The quality of the refereeing in the Premier League this year is rubbish.
Poor.
It's rubbish.
You know.
It's definitely. Yeah. But the quality of the
VAR, they've now devolved, any controversial decisions to Stockley Park.
And they're rubbish as well. The people
and they're rubbish as well because
rubbish.
Actually, it looks like Arsenal should have had a penalty. Looking at the highlights of their game,
they should have. So should City's was given, but Arsenal's.
Let me ask Marlon quickly. What do you think of Kane? Do you think he's back? Is he a player now that we can say he's definitely back for Spurs?
100%. I don't think he was anyway. I just think, come on, any of us playing in a team like that you don't get no service. It's like you got to create something. Do you know what? He might as well be a magician because you can't do nothing else because you're not getting it. Be serious. You get no service. Do you know how much time I saw him today trying to create something out of nothing? I'm like, this poor guy. But it's not just him. Son's underperforming. Lucas hit and miss, even though he's been quite good this season, but then he might pull something out of the bag. But,
Marlon, it's really interesting you bring up Lucas,
Yeah,
Lucas
I think
really. I think Lucas. Lucas, I think, has been. He was rested for the Southampton game, and I think it's taken the impetus that he had. I think he needs to play, and once once he doesn't get once he's dropped for a game, I think it takes him a while to get back in. And I thought even as a substitute against Southampton, he was very ineffective. And today, you say that he really did anything? I don't think he did.
Sorry, Mark. Before with Mora, you know what he's going to do. He wants to pick the ball up, turn and run at players. But because he's not in a wide area and he's playing infield, they're playing almost like these 2 10s behind Kane. He's trying to run through 2 banks of 4. Now, with the best win in the world, unless you are really, really Messi-esque, you're not going to get through all them players. So he's driving himself into areas of the pitch where if he's playing with 2v2 with Emerson on that right-hand side, you're going to bring one of them players out, or you're going to create just 2v1s. I'm sure he's going to be able to skip around one player and then maybe do something with it. But the fact he's trying to do it infield when they have got a low block, it's very, 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 very difficult. And I just think sometimes this needs a little bit more thought. Right. Can I get myself more space if I go into a different area of the pitch? That's all I wanted to see him do. That's all. Much more than that. Sorry.
Question: if we had Eriksen in this formation, would it work? Just so.
He's not coming. It's not happening, is it?
No, that he's coming. Eriksen.
It would work.
Eriksen type player. I thought.
Of course.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Does he work hard enough? He's a bit.
I don't think he needs to work hard enough.
Listen,
he knows what's required of a Conte team.
Eriksen's stats in terms of running stats were one of the highest that we had in our team. So he does work hard. He doesn't look like he's working hard. That's the only problem.
He's that deep lying playmaker that type of player that we need.
We need, that can break the defenses.
And I mean, if we go back to Skip, I mean, then you could say, well, Skip, you just sit and hold a little bit more and protect the back line and such. Because I don't think he's good enough to do what we need him to do in the opposition's sort of final third. From the middle of the middle of the park defensively and like into our own sort of third, I think he's brilliant. But if we're going to go for a box to box, I think we need to, from a creativity perspective, I think we need someone better than Skip in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that Conte's almost nailed his colours to the mast in terms of saying what he said about Winks. Winks is definitely staying. I can see him being that deep lying playmaker from that, spraying them balls. And
being a playmaker.
Well, the thing is, he's not a playmaker.
Let's just say deep lying defensive midfielder. Let's not put him into that play because then we're going to be starting comparing him to Pirlo and all
I
these
know.
sorts of shit.
I'm trying to give Winks a bit more credit than I've probably given him in the last 2 years. But what Conte did with Eriksen was very similar. He played him a little bit deeper and got him to like make them passes left and right, and get them balls into the areas of the pitch where threaded balls into the midfielders. So I think he can probably try to do that with Winks. I don't think Winks is the sort of quality that Eriksen's got, but I can see what he's trying to do. I just think we need that we do need creativity, but we ain't going to get it from Ndombele. I'm not sure if we're going to see Brian in that role until he gets a bit more used to the Premier League. So we're going to struggle unless we get somebody.
He's only 20. It's asking quite a lot from a 20-year-old, isn't it, to come and be our saviour from a creativity perspective. He needs this season at least just to let him settle and get used to the physical and mental demands of playing in England. So
he's always played as a traditional left winger as well. He's dust on the boots, left-sided foot player. So to get him, to think of changing him into a central midfield, I think is a big ask.
I thought when he came on though, he looked lively. He had the energy that we perhaps needed that we perhaps were lacking in the second half. I thought he came on and I thought he was lively, which is what we need. But as I say, I don't think we can rely on him. Not this season, anyway. Give him a.
I think he needs time. I think it's time, like you said, Mike. I think he does need time.
Talking of that, man.
Player,
yeah, talking about him. Have you not read and whatever today that rumours to Barcelona are the pace is fastening very, very quickly in terms of him going to Barca. Apparently, they're saying, I read it this morning that it's intensifying a move to Barca for Hill. So that's an interesting one.
I can't see how we're going to let a talent like Hill go.
It depends on I could see him going on loan.
Yeah, let him go on loan all day long.
Yeah, I think a loan deal will be good for him, personally.
Yeah.
It depends on Conte, doesn't it? What he wants.
But it's going back to Spain. It's not giving him that sort of learning curve in the Premier League, which is what I think he needs in order to be sort of successful.
Good point. But that's a good point.
It's a difficult one though, because he needs the game time, but he needs the experience in the Premier League.
If he was to go to somewhere in the Premier League, you need to go to a team where he's going to play. He's not going to play in a team above us. That's obvious. But then, if you look at the teams, I could see him. Where would he work out at? Which team would be able to get the best out of him that plays the way that might bring out the best in someone like a Brian Hill? I don't know.
Aston Villa.
Villa, under Stevie G. I think Palace as well, because they've got some good wingers. Palace.
Palace.
Yeah, Palace would be a good shout. Even Everton would be a good shout as well.
Yeah, there's a few teams.
If it's not the Premier League, maybe the Bundesliga.
That's true.
Could be. Yeah.
That would be a good option because it's quite a physical league.
He doesn't need that robustness. That's what I think he lacks. He just needs, because I think he's got all the talent in the world, but the Premier League is different for that physical, robust. You need to have that ability to be able to shrug off a challenge, get up, get back on with it, go back at your player. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time for him. Right, I'm going to come to you all for your final thoughts and your man of the match for Spurs today. Mike, I'll start with you. Final thoughts on the game, man of the match as well.
Final thoughts. I'm just happy we got the 3 points. Get out of there. Whether it's a 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, honestly, at this time of the year, I couldn't care less how we get the points. Just get the 3 points in the bag and we can move on. Hopefully, January will be an interesting time, and hopefully we can get some players that will improve the team, the squad, etc. In terms of man of the match, I probably have to give it. Yeah, I thought Sanchez. I don't know. I'm torn between Sanchez and Skip. I think I'm gonna. Skip played very well today, I thought.
I did think so too.
I'm going to give it to Sanchez because he popped up and he was match winner. So I'm going to give it to Sanchez on that basis. Although Skip, I do know Skip had a very good game.
Davinson Sanchez getting MOM. This is like, wow, we're getting into deep territory.
You need a hero to pop up. We've got a hero.
He's got a hero. It's very true. Steve, I'm going to come to you then. Final thoughts on the game, MOM.
Do you know what? I've got Spidey with me now. And we're all Spidey fans now. So, do you know
Your
what?
film's
There's
pretty good though.
Well, I've not seen it, so don't tell me.
Don't say
One thing. Yeah, don't say nothing. Everyone's forgot about something that happened today that was crucial in the first half. I think it was, and everyone's brushed over it. The fact that Hugo saved us with that save. Yeah, he didn't do nothing in the whole game. The save, that fingertip from Joshua King, that second half, that was a great save, you know, and we have to do everything possible to tie this guy down because he's one hell of a keeper, man. No matter what, he done nothing in the whole game, and he pulls off a save like that. But in terms of man of the match, Sanchez done well. I think Skip done well, but I'm going to give it to Skip because I think Skip done a lot of coverage because he's a box-to-box running around and stuff like that. So I'm going to give it to Skip.
Okay, that's cool. This comment here from Scott M. Man of the match, Hugo by a wide margin for me. Sanchez did nothing but be tall. I think that's a bit unfair. That's a bit unfair, isn't it?
Hugo could have cost us today because that was a penalty.
Yeah,
that was a penalty. That was a penalty all day long. All day long.
No, he's got the ball. He's got the ball.
No, he got the ball after the touch. The touch was first, and then he got the ball.
It was a penalty, mate.
But Sanchez made a mistake as well, you know. He once he gave that ball away when a stupid back pass, I think, or he tried to do something stupid. But he would have saved the penalty anyways, because I have trust and faith in my keeper. Yeah, you give it away, you give with one hand, and you take in the other hand. So no, I'm going. No, not having it. Leave my Hugo. No, I'm a Hugo fan now. Forget Delhi.
So who you gave man of the match? Who did you say man of the match for you?
Skip.
Okay, Sean, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to go with the Colombian Capo Canieri. Yes, it's going to be Davison Sanchez for making my friend Tom nearly put his foot through the TV in ecstasy this time, rather than under Nuno when it was like sheer boredom. For me, Sanchez, for getting up there and sticking his bunts on that ball from Son. Yeah, he deserves the man of the match.
You guys are going from slating him now to giving him man of the match.
I know.
Hold on, I've never slated Sanchez.
Not you.
I've been. I admit, I used to slaughter Sanchez because even today, when he was in the opposition's sort of final third, it's almost like he was lost. He's having a nosebleed. It's like Dyer needed to get that pulley to put him back into place, whatever. But yeah, I thought Sanchez.
Well, he's only getting it because Winks wasn't on for long enough.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. He had no name. He was Sanchez number 6 for months and months and months. Yeah. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. I can't see how this player can be coached. But somehow, some way, Conte's done something. Well, is it because we've just got Romero out, so he's had to step up? So you know what I'm saying?
All the numbers that you were referring to last season, they've all become names and names in capital.
I know.
Winks,
I know.
Dyer, Sanchez.
Stop, Sid. You're causing me problems now. That's not funny. Because it's Winks, Sanchez, definitely.
The Winks,
one player that has not let me down, though, is Matt Doherty. He's not let me down.
True.
He's still shit.
Dorothy. It's
Dorothy, that's right. Marlon. Final thoughts on the game and your man of the match. And if you say Sissoko, you ain't coming back on here ever again.
I'll go Sanchez close by Skips. I think, Skips did actually. He done better than Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg played better when Skips came off, though. That's what I noticed. I think because they make similar runs and similar movements, then it's like sometimes getting each other's way. But I'll go Sanchez then. Skips close.
Okay. It was a tough one for me. I was gonna go with Oliver Skip if Sanchez didn't pop with that winner, but because he did, and I've given him so much grief, and do you know what I'm saying? He's had to step up with Romero. He's under pressure. He's probably the central defender that's under the most pressure for when Romero comes back. So again, he's had to do what he's done. He's still got a mistake in him, but all three of them have got mistakes in them. But again, another clean sheet and pops up with a winner. Davison Sanchez, number 6.
Put respect on his name.
Mike, you're going to have to clip you and Sam giving him man of the match, and that needs to go viral on every social media platform. I'm telling you now.
Oh,
I'll lose the 100 followers I've got on Twitter.
Right. The thing is now we've got some real tough games coming up. Let's not beat around the bush. We've got Chelsea twice, 3 times I should say.
No,
We've got Arsenal, and obviously we've got an FA Cup game against Morecambe, which shouldn't be one of the tougher games. But do you know what I mean? We still got Chelsea and them lot to come. So let's see how Sanchez does in them games and the back three and the rest of the team when we come to play them. But anyway, before we go, make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching live, hit that like button. If you're watching on record, smash that like button as well. We've got memberships. If you are new to this channel and want to become a member, look through our community tab and you'll see memberships available and all the rest of it. And we've got, obviously, with the transfer window now open, we've got Mr. Sid in the house, who's now reverting from Sid Says back to Art Sid or Art Sid back to Sid Says. I get confused with whichever ones. But Sid, have we got anything coming up soon?
Yeah, I'm going to look into it. Maybe this week. Sid Says he's back. Ask Sid is now. Nobody puts baby in the corner, but Sid's been put in the corner. And Sid says he's back. Guess who's back? Sid says he's back. So, yes, look out for that. Everything's already been sorted. So, we're just waiting. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But, yeah, I'll be back this week.
Sid
question
Romario.
for you, though.
Sid Romano.
One quick question.
Yes.
Guys, if you was given the 2, we've got Chelsea 3 times. Which one would you want? Do you want the league win or do you want the 2 in the cup?
I want to go through in the cup. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
You can have both.
You can have both, but I'm just saying what's going to be more important?
We can't have nice things, Mike. Cups? We support Spurs.
Yeah. Can't have. Listen, we ain't going to get all of them. And someone said it in plenty of chat. We ain't going to win all 4 of them games.
No.
We might be able to win over 2 legs against Chelsea to get through. Would I take that and lose twice against Arsenal and Chelsea in the league? Oh, that's a tough one. I really want to win this game against Chelsea in the cup. Just because it's a cup to win. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's a cup. We've got a couple of games in advantage with us because we've got a couple of games against, a couple of games in hand against them others. So we can afford to maybe lose a game or even draw and a loss. I'm not saying I want that, but Chelsea in the League Cup, come on. That would be so sweet to knock them out again. 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
2 years in a
row. What you got to remember, is should I listen to what you say or listen to what Sid says? It's a tough decision to make.
That singing career is taking off, folks. You can see that. It's taking off. It's definitely into 2022.
This man's due a number 1 at some point, I'm telling you.
100%. Right then, guys. Mike, Sid, Sean, and Marlon Bashman, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks
Bashful, Marlon. I haven't seen his face the whole stream.
Nah, man.
All I heard was oh, there he is. Oh, he is alive.
He's not just the voice.
He's not just the voice. Bashman's in the house. Quality. Why don't you just pop up when we're fucking finishing as well, Marlon? You know what I mean? Bloody hell.
He was waiting for me to sing. That's what it was.
He's one of the 7 dwarfs.
Marlon wants to get on the decks. Now he's heard since.
Exactly.
Marlon at the controls.
Oh dear. It probably would have been a very, very different show had we lost. Had we drawn. Had we lost, I don't know. We would have probably all thrown our TVs out the window. But we didn't. We won the game. Davinson Sanchez, well done to him. Well done to all you. And thank you for all supporting us into 2022. Big things to come from Paxton Road TV. So keep watching. Keep supporting us. We can't do any of this without you. So please, we thank you. And thank you for, watching the first show of 2022 with a victory. And there we go. Marlon, you're getting the LOLs as well. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good from the Paxton Road people, the Paxton Road. There we go. Mr. K, Marlon was in the house. Right then, gents, that's enough. Let's go and watch the second half of West Ham, but they're 3-0 up anyway, so that's not going to be
Take care.
Different. Right then, take care. We shall see you all again soon.